Hello, everyone. My name is Alex, and welcome to Krataris Origins episode 0, I guess you could call it. What this is, and if you're watching from the future after episode 1, you already know what this is, and you can skip ahead a little. But to summarize, I'm developing a TTRPG called Big Adventure Game. It's in beta, free beta, by the way, link in the description. And my friends here are gonna help me test it out in a long form campaign and build up some lore for the setting with the events of that campaign. The actual first episode of the show is scheduled to stream live right here on this channel on July 8th, so make sure you're subscribed. But today we're just going to hang out, fill out character sheets, and spitball backstory ideas together. If you're watching from the future after the real episodes have started coming out, and you just wanted to see the session 0, thanks for coming back in time and supporting the channel. Appreciate that. If you want to support me and the channel and the game, like, comment, subscribe, become a YouTube member, share the video, watch the other videos on the channel. All the good YouTuber stuff, right?
Or else.
Yeah, or else. Destroy the like button, smash it, destroy it. So before we get too deep into things, I'm gonna have my players here introduce themselves. Again, if you've come in from the first episode, you know who these people are already. But real quick, guys, names, what you do, where people can find you. And of course, I do have links for everybody in the description. Katie, you're first if you want to go first.
I wasn't prepared. I know introducing yourself is great.
Also,
Hi.
not a stranger to fans of the channel, Katie. So
No, you've heard my voice before. Now you get to see my face. Hello, I'm Katie, also known as Gifted Faker online. I was in a podcast season a couple seasons ago, so you've heard this voice. I'm sorry. But I'm Gifted Faker. I am a voice actor, cosplayer, streamer, all-around creative person, and just genuine weirdo. And you can find me online under The Gifted Faker or Gifted Faker, Instagram, Twitch, all those good places. Heck yeah.
yeah.
Next.
Hi, I'm Megara Hope. I'm an actress, cosplayer, streamer, and panic attack person. What's going on? You can find me at Megara Hope or at Megara Hope Cosplay, depending on the platform, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, all that jazz.
Yeah.
Hello, I am Sam, or Miss Sam May on Instagram. Much like these lovely ladies, I am also a cosplayer, weirdo, nerd, human, and yeah, excited to be here.
Hi, I'm Mitchell. You also know me as Raptor Blue on Twitch. I am a voice actor. I am a mid-tier gaming streamer, and I talk about Pan-African history.
Hello. My name is Charm, also known as Nyx. You can find me at @CharmFoolery, where I'm the face of a channel that is essentially just tabletop everything, as well as a little bit of cosplay and a little bit of streaming. Thanks so much. Hi.
All right. And of course, thanks again, guys, for doing this ridiculous thing with me. Appreciate you guys.
Always.
Of course.
I'm here for ridiculous things.
Thanks for having us.
That's what you get here.
That's the point of every game.
Yes.
So like I said, the system that I'm building is called Big Adventure Game. It is sort of a fresh take on the, classic D20 fantasy role-playing that we're all familiar with a bunch of new modern updates and such. Like I said, it's free while it's in beta, so if you're even a little bit curious and you want to read the book along with us as we do this, you can get the game for free via the link in the description. As of this recording, we are on beta version 0.1.1.7, so it may look a little different than whatever you're looking at in the future. There's patch notes on the website if you're super curious about all that nitpicky stuff. Big Adventure Games rules are setting agnostic, meaning that they'll work in just about any setting with at least some level of medieval fantasy vibes. That said, if you don't want to do world building, if you don't have the time, we do have an official setting guide called Atlas of Krataris, also in beta. If you really want to get into the weeds with the lore, I have a short little trailer video up on the channel. I'll make the link thing appear in the corner. And of course, you can read along the book on our website as well. But basically, it's an early medieval fantasy setting with elves and dwarves and dragons and all that stuff. It's very much inspired by classic. You know what you're getting, right? But it's very much inspired by Dragon Age, a bit of The Witcher, some real history inspiration, and just a bunch of other fantasy properties and things that I've been inspired by over the years. So you'll pick up on some themes and some inspirations. But again, not going to get super into details at the top here. Links in the description if you want to get into the nitty gritty of it. So that's most of everything. We've already done some of our session 0 on off camera earlier. Our safety talk and game plan and vibes and scheduling and all that stuff. And we had everybody call dibs on Lineage and also their role in the party. Big Adventure Game doesn't have classes. Everything is mix and match, but nonetheless, you still have some sort of identifier. You can still call yourself a wizard or whatever. So we had everybody call roles. And so with that out of the way, we can kind of get started here. It starts on in the player's handbook on page 16. 16 and 17, really. 17 is like a checklist of everything that we need to go through. And you guys have your character sheets, so we'll get into it. The first thing that we do right on the next page is you pick a lineage, and this is pretty basic, but it's race, ancestry, whatever you want to call it. We call it lineage in Big Adventure Game, and you guys have all picked those out. So why don't you go ahead and let me know what you picked out? We'll actually do Katie last because yours is not in this book. You have a special one.
I'm special.
Ooh, special.
I'm a problem.
And I'm a Drake blood.
I'm H2O intolerant.
Simple, upfront, all true.
Yeah, well, why don't we go opposite order? Charm, what do you got going on?
Great.
Lineage-wise, let's talk about what you're doing here. What are you
Beans,
looking at?
I am playing what is called a Drake blood in the Krataris Origins setting guide, but is naturally called, I believe, what was it? It was Dragon.
Yeah, so the sort of flavorless, just mechanical
Yeah,
version of it is
Dragon
called
Folk,
Dragon
thank
Folk.
you.
In Krataris, they call them Drake Bloods. They have a fancy name for it. But yeah, you're a dragon
Yeah.
person.
I am a dragon person, but not a dragon.
Person.
Damn
It's very important, the person part.
Yes.
There's a difference.
On the character sheet, you guys will put your lineage in that box, sort of in the top right. So, looking at the rule book, you've got a size of medium. That's just sort of the default. Speed, 30. You put that in the box that says speed on the top left. And then, so as a dragon person, you pick an element to be resistant to and also to shout at people. Which element are you looking at? All right. Classic. Yeah, so you're resistant to heat, so mark that down in the lineage box as well. And then copy paste that fire breath text and, just delete some of the extraneous text that's there since you're only breathing fire and not all the elements. And then we'll kind of go through that same process with the other lineages. So, Mitch, what do you got?
I am playing what is called a Fiend Folk in the Player's Handbook version, but in Krataris, I am known as a Netherblood. I'm your resident tiefling, though who may be built like a dwarf. Who knows?
We'll find out.
Yes.
Short, devilish king.
Short Devilish
we
King,
stand.
maybe a little
love.
too much hair. Who knows?
On board.
Secrets must be had.
And so
How big are the
likewise,
horns?
we'll come around to appearances. Likewise, in your speed box, you're going to put 30. In your lineage box, you're going to put 60 feet of dark vision and heat resistance. Sam, what am you?
Yes, I am a human, and I just have to read. I don't know if you read the player handbook piece for the human, but it's perfect because it says, "You know what a human is. You are one, unless you're an alien reading this from the future." And okay, welcome to Earth. Sorry, it's weird here, and
Hell yeah.
just
You gotta have some
It's
humor in the rule
really
book.
wonderful.
A lot of dry rules,
Mhm.
Very accurate, very on the nose. Yeah, I'm a human, so let's go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't get anything special. I don't
You
get to
do.
breathe
You do,
fire
actually.
Or
I threw us squishy little humans a bone. So you also get 30 feet of speed, and then under unique features there, you have you're less affected by the exhaustion system in the game, so you can just copy paste
Okay.
that. And then you have 2 additional training points. So when we come around to training points later, you'll have 2 more to spend. Okay, continuing backwards. Meg, what are you?
I am an elf, more specifically, a city elf.
All right. So you get also 30 walking speed, and you get 30 feet of dark vision, and then specifically as a city elf, like the human, you get 2 extra training points.
Awesome. And we're going to handle that later.
You're going to handle training points later. Yeah, just note that you have them.
Yeah.
And then, Katie, you're in the other book, because you're
I
a thing
am.
that
I'm
has...
a problem.
The
Such
other
a special
book.
problem.
You're
You're
not
a
a
thing
problem,
that
you're our
has
spice.
lore tied to it.
I've risen.
Yes.
I'm risen. I am not a zombie, but
Zombie
brains are
adjacent.
nice.
Yeah.
Close enough to one.
Brains.
Brains, they're like snack. I don't like them for like dinner, but they're a nice snack.
You actually don't need
Mhm.
to eat anything if you don't want
That is
to.
true. I am glad that you wrote in though that I still get pleasure from eating. Like I can still taste
Yes.
things well. I'm like, thank God. Because if I did not like
Yeah,
food anymore,
it's
I'd
not
be
a
sad.
Pirates of the Caribbean situation. So Katie, for you and your character sheet, you get a lot as Arisen. But there's some drawbacks then, of course, right? So resistances, you get cold damage, unholy damage, and the sickened condition. But on the other hand, you're vulnerable to heat heat damage, fire damage.
The
Um,
Glad I'm the
opposite,
part of the
two
party that
people.
likes heat. Yeah,
Perfectly balanced
hurt
as all
me.
things must be.
Please don't hurt me.
We're gonna block the heat for you. We're gonna
Thank
stand in
you.
front of the heat for you.
With both of us, you take
Mhm.
0 heat damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
It evens out.
Combined.
Just stay behind them.
Okay, got it.
Your type is undead instead of humanoid, which means that some spells will affect you a bit differently.
Oof.
And then, like it says, you don't need to eat, drink, sleep, breathe, etc. All right, lost a little bit of
Chaos.
recording there, but hey, this is why we're not doing this part live. This is also the test bed for the live stream. You didn't miss much. We're doing step 2 of character creation, which is your stats, your core attributes. On the character sheet, it's these big numbers on the left: strength, reflex, etc. You've played a TTRPG before, probably, if you're this deep into YouTube watching this sort of thing. The way this works in Big Adventure Game is you start with a -2 and everything. That's your floor, and that is the stat and the modifier. It's one number, and then you get 28 points of a point buy that you can sprinkle onto those, up to a maximum of 5 in a single stat. If you find that is too much math and that is annoying, I have templates here for you. Again, there are no classes in Big Adventure Game, but there's still vibes of characters, and so these are just some basic starting points. Like the first one is Assassin. If you're playing an Assassin, you can take these and you'll be in a pretty good spot. Or you can take them and then move them if you want to skip the math, right? So anyway, while I've been resetting the recording and talking into nothing because I broke the audio, these guys have been doing math. So once everybody's good, we'll talk about it. Talk about the stats we picked.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So
Let's go.
math time is over. Going back the other direction now. Katie, what are your stats?
I have my strength at -2, my reflexes at 2, my vitality at -2, mind at 4, sense at 2, charisma at 0, magic at 5, and luck at 3.
Okay, you're gonna be very squishy.
Yeah, you are a squishy one.
I don't go near people. People don't come near me. I hide in the corner and I go pew pew.
I hope you're right about that. All right.
That's the hope.
You've set yourself up for minimum hit points. Meg, what do you got?
Nervous. Me?
Yeah.
I got strength at 2, reflex at 3, vitality at 1, mind at 0, sense at 1, charisma at 3, magic at 2, luck at 0.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
So I
For your-
took your suggestion and tweaked it a little.
Yeah, as is the game. Sam, what did we land on?
I landed on these nice big numbers, and they are strength at 1, reflex at 4, vitality at 1, mind at 0, sense at 1, charisma at 2, magic at 1, and yes, I took the standard array for Inquisitor, and I just switched 1. I took away from luck, and I added 1 to strength.
Okay,
so it's
great.
the same numbers minus luck and strength.
Yeah. Mitch, what do we got?
I took the one or stuff from Paladin. I actually believe I have an extra point, but I'm not sure. I put strength at 4. I put reflex at 1, vitality at 3, mind at 0 compared to the rest of these smarties. Sense at 2, charisma at 3, magic -2, and luck at 0. And I actually have 1 more point to spend, so I'm going to put that in reflex.
Okay.
There you go. Don't worry,
Great.
I'm also a mine 0. We can be the
Nice.
dum-dums in the corner.
No, I have to be in the corner to be protected.
That's fair. We're in
Yeah.
the other corner.
The front corner.
And Charm, what are your stats?
All right, get ready for a mind twister. Strength at 0,
Sure.
reflex at 0, vitality at 0, mind at 5, sense at 0, charisma 0, magic 5, and luck at 2.
You were not lying when
It
you
sounds
said
strange,
that.
but I think, yeah, depending on how you distribute your training points, I think that's entirely viable for
Yeah.
a priest build. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has
I
she
like that
frozen
my
for
screen
everybody
has
else?
froze with my mouth wide open.
Okay.
I did smile too.
It
though.
really
was.
was.
like
I
a-
was actually really proud about it.
It's
It
funny.
was beautiful.
It was like my shit-eating grin. Like, check out these garbage stats.
Look at these
Enjoy.
stats. No one will know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good. We've got stats. So what we do from there
I never min-max, so here you go.
is we go to the next page, page 24, and we do
Or
derived stats. These are stats based on stats. Stats all the way down.
stats on
Stats
stats
on
on stats, yo. Same mind.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun time.
This is gonna be
Oh,
this is gonna
ready?
be silly.
People are they're gonna watch this and go like, "Whoa!"
Listen, the other show on this channel is called Roll for Distraction. It's nothing these people aren't used to.
That's fair.
Fair.
So HP, hit points, the first thing. It's a function of how much vitality you have and how much magic you have. There's a little chart here. I'll zoom in for the people at home. As it says, look at your vitality stat. That gives you a number. Look at your magic stat. That gives you another number. Put those numbers together. That's how much HP you have. So, Katie, how much HP do you have?
Oh, I see.
Is that 19? 24 minus
Ow.
That is very low.
Let's see. I'm gonna die.
I say, if
Stay in that
No,
we
corner.
no.
haven't finished yet, if you want to move a point into vitality,
That's fair.
Do I need sense at all? I
mean-
don't think I do.
You also need to be alive, so
It is
Look, I've
very
already
difficult to
died.
go
I've
under
been
that.
there. I can go back.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I don't know if I need sense.
I'm taking heal stuff. It'll be fine. You'll be fine.
you need, how much sense do you have?
I have 2. I could make that 0 and then put that in vitality to make that 0, and then I get 25 health. And that
That's
sounds
my
like a
HP.
nicer number.
It's a nicer number.
That's an
Way
option.
Look,
nicer
you
number.
can't survive
I
more than a
think-
stiff breeze at 25.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
We
Okay.
can have
I don't-
25
I
HP
don't-
together.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll make you not.
So
the
Charm, you also have
squishy.
25 HP?
I sure do.
Okay. Meg, what do you got?
31.
Okay. That sounds great. Mitch,
43.
you're the
Hot.
tank.
Hit him! I am
Yo.
pushing you in front of me at any given opportunity.
I think at this point, like, that is expected.
Great.
And Sam.
32.
Nice.
That sounds good too, yeah. Great. So we've got one big tanky guy, 2 in the middle, and then 2 less for HP.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm in the back.
I'm in the front, but it's a calculated risk.
Then the next thing
Thankfully,
there
I'm
is
bad
just
at math.
rules for temporary hit points. Don't worry about that. The next thing after that is hero points, which is sort of our luck-based system. This is no math here. Look at the luck. Look at the hero points. That goes in your character sheet on the kind of the middle at the top next to armor class. Just more luck, more hero points. Don't need to dwell on that too long.
Don't think about it.
Yeah, just a number. Initiative. Initiative in this, just like D&D and Pathfinder and other similar games you played, it's a D20 plus a number. So, in this case, the number is your reflex and your sense together. Both of those together govern initiative. And that goes on the character sheet at the under your name there. Next step is your maximum carrying capacity. This isn't going to come up too much, but it goes on the 3rd page of the character sheet at the top right where it says maximum. And that's just a simple chart with your strength.
This
More
isn't
strong,
going
more
to come
carry.
up again. I think you underestimate how often
I didn't say it's not going to come up again, just
I
not
hoard
much.
things in
I was
games.
about to say, who likes to hoard
Carry
things?
all my stuff. Thanks.
I will admit that I do have a tendency to hoard things.
Oh my
Please do
gosh.
not give it all to me.
I'm surrounded.
Well, but
Because
you're the
I have
strongest
180.
one.
I am the strongest one.
And I am the weakest.
And that goes under maximum, right?
That goes under maximum.
Okay.
Languages is the last thing. So the way languages work in Big Adventure Game is, and this is where the setting guide is going to come in. Everybody speaks Common, which in Krataris in our setting is called Iborian. But you can write Common if you want to write Common. There's the list. And so everybody speaks that. And then on top of that, everybody also speaks a language associated with either their lineage or a culture they're from. So, Meg, you're playing an elf. You speak Iborian and Elvish. The rest of you guys, depending on what you're playing, you're going to get that same benefit. So write those down first, just like your default languages. On top of that, on top of your lineage and culture-based languages, if you have a high mind score, you get some more. So if you have 0 or less mind, no extra languages for you. If you have 1 to 3 mind, you get 1 extra language. The list is on page 7 of the setting guide. If you have 4 or more mind, you get 2 more languages. Again, same list.
Got it.
So charm.
Hey.
Hey.
You'll be doing
You
the
get to talk to
talking.
things.
Oh,
yeah. Oh well, I get to
Well,
listen to
what's
things.
your
I shouldn't
charisma?
talk. Yeah, I shouldn't talk.
yeah. My charisma's also at a 0,
Same.
and I can speak 2 languages as well.
Oh, am I the one talking to
We-
people? Wonderful.
You're talking. We'll translate.
We're translate. Yeah.
We'll translate. Yeah.
Your
Charisma?
interpreters,
it's-
yeah.
I think it's
3.
you and me.
Mine too. Okay,
Mine-
we're at
yeah.
All right.
We're just their translators.
Okay,
Exactly,
cool.
yeah.
We can come back around to that if people are mulling over languages, but yeah, that's how that
I've
works.
got all 4 at mine, so I'm
Great.
ready.
Um,
I only get 3, so.
Total of 4.
So
I get
step 3 is your skills. That's the next big thing. This works just like your attributes, where it's a point buy. Only it's easier because you're starting from 0 in everything. Skills, of course, is most of the first page of the character sheet. It's those training points there. And so the way this works, if you want to start from scratch, you get 45. You can sprinkle them around as you like, up to a maximum of 7 in a single skill. Sam and Meg, you guys both have 47 to sprinkle because you're a human and a city elf. You get those extra 2.
Cool.
Likewise, you can take the template and then tweak the template.
a question.
Yes, Meg.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say it out loud. I will be running one of the disability mechanics. I am a hard of hearing actress, streamer, cosplayer, all that jazz. So my character will be as well. It's not gonna be
Gorgeous.
anything that they hide.
Nice.
It's just a part of them. So therefore, I have questions
Yes.
about that mechanic.
Yeah.
So-
We'll get to that. That's involved with like the features more so, but yeah.
Even I'm just talking about detection because it's related to detection. That's
Yes.
why I'm trying to like ask the question. But how do we find passive detection? Did you not get
Passive
there yet?
detection is 10 plus whatever your total. If you rolled a 10, basically on detection is what it would be. And then we'll worry about how that interacts with hard of hearing when we get to features.
Okay.
Okay, so after a bunch of math, hello, welcome back, audience.
Hello.
A bunch of counting, really, more than math, I guess. But what does everybody have like the most training in? What are your like favored skills? Katie, what are you good at?
Most of it in stealth magic. That's pretty much where I put it. Stealth
Okay.
magic, and then a couple other bases to cover, like light melee,
Sure.
monsters. I'll put some stuff in like deception and intimidation, but mostly stealth and magic.
All right.
You will not see me, and then I'll hit you with the.
With your 19 health, probably a good idea.
Yeah.
It's 25 now.
It's
I fixed it. I fixed it. It's fine.
My bad. 25
Better.
health. Okay.
Yeah. Much better.
Again, I'm gonna be in the back. I'm gonna be in the back, just quietly, stealthy, in the shadows.
Oh no,
you
you've
won't
been
find
ambushed
me.
from behind. Meg, what are you good at? Trained in, I guess.
I might adjust a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't do math fast, so I have to double check some stuff. She's got some good light throwing. some light melee stuff, and I would say stealth, obviously.
Yep.
Figuring out the animal handling performance,
Sure, how you
where I
want to divide that.
how I want to do that right now. But yeah, that's kind of performing based, and snake.
Right.
Snick a snick.
How many points do you have in
snake who can talk to
Sneaky Snake?
snakes.
Sam, what are you trained in?
So archery, I put my extra training points
Right.
in there, so I will be shooting the things. I'm also fairly intimidating, so that's always a good time to be scary. Scary shooting arrows.
Nice.
Classic. Mitch, what do we got?
We actually have quite a good spread here when I'm focusing in. Obviously, I am debating between medium melee weapons and if I just want to be a big brawny dude who just punches things, debating between that. On the more fun side, however, I put a lot of points into society to be a little more streetwise, intuition, persuasion.
We like
Good.
it.
Good. Somebody has to talk to people.
Wheeling, wheeling, dealing, you know?
And charm.
Charm. My biggest skills are going to be magic, of course, followed by religion, society,
Right.
technology, medicine, and monsters.
Okay. All the smart stuff.
I know the
Medicine
things.
and monsters. Really cool.
A band name.
Yeah, seriously.
Band name.
Looking at the rule book again. Moving into the next page of things, we come to spellcasting. Mitch, you can go take a nap.
-2. I don't need nothing.
Just help
So
us pick.
let's go through the numbers. On your character sheets on the second page, that's where all your magic stuff is. There's the big box on the right that says spellcasting. So you have so the way spellcasting in Big Adventure Game works is it's spell points, which is like mana or whatever, right? Spell stamina, or you want to call it. It's not spell slots like D&D. It's just a singular resource. Spells have some different costs. So you guys have a maximum SP of your magic stat times 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20.
25, 30, 35, 40. Sorry.
Not that high.
I know, but the song, the Schoolhouse Rock, it happens every time.
So that's easy. And then you we'll come back to the specific spells you know, but you know a number of spells equal to your magic stat times 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Again, if you want to just write that down somewhere, that like I know 2 spells or whatever, we'll come back to that. And then the last thing is the difficulty value of saving throws that you create. Your spell save DV, that is 12 plus your magic, so 13, 14, 15. And that all goes in the spellcasting box. Did that all make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. So, with that out of the
I was the
way,
example. For example, a character with 2 magic. With
There
no
you go.
more spell. I didn't even have to do the math.
so with that out of the way, then go pick spells. The list begins on page 34.
Important question.
Yeah.
Because we have a dead person. Do healing spells impact them differently?
Yes. So, the spell Restore is your main, make HP go up spell. And that does not work on undead. The spell Repair functions the same way for undead.
Gorgeous.
And also objects, but
Like, because spoiler alert, I do know necromancy.
sure.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the
So
ability to
probably
raise a
gonna take
corpse
couple
and
of those.
the ability to raise a corpse and the ability to fix a corpse are 2 different spells.
Yes.
But if someone wants to know Repair so that Katie can be healed,
Yes.
not a bad idea. Yeah, so let's come back to the audience. Okay, sounds like everybody's got spells picked out, so let's go opposite order this time. Charm, what have you picked for spells?
All right, I have picked Circle of Regen, Circle of Empowerment, Comprehension. Yes, circles. Circles. I love circles. They're just so round. Restore, Detect Life, Cure, Detect Magic, Holy Light, and Speak to Corpse.
Nice. That's a classic. Yeah, all good choices. Mitch can't cast spells. Sam, what did you pick?
I went full utilitarian and picked distant message and muffled sounds so that I can make Mitch quiet, but scary.
With his big armor.
Beautiful.
Very good.
I
And
refuse to be
then,
silenced.
yeah. Meg, what did you pick?
Animal shapes, awareness, viper bite, and repair for reason.
Very good, yeah. Assuming using the animal shapes more for stealth purposes than
100%.
like being a wolf all the time in combat.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
they are more for, especially because of the costs that they could take.
Yes. Yeah, more powerful creatures cost more spell points. It's a variable cost.
And I
Whereas
only have
being a
so
little bird
many.
is cheap.
Exactly.
Katie, what'd you get?
I did Magic Dart, Altered Appearance, Hologram, Death Mark, Lightning Bolt, Cold Snap, Explosive Rune, Repair, Muddle Mind, and Presage. Presage. I'm not going to pronounce that right.
The future prediction
Presage?
one, yeah. Presage?
Presage.
I don't know. I always thought it was presage, then someone told me it was presage, and now I don't know what's real anymore, so.
I like presage.
Massage. You put it in your pocket.
Great, all good picks. And then, so that brings us to the next part, which is features.
Cheers.
So what these are, again, if you've played any similar D20 game, it's an ability that you have that is not strictly magical. It is just a thing, a feature that you have. The way that these work in Big Adventure Game, because there's no classes, you just kind of pick whatever you want, but they do still have some basic prerequisites attached. Like you have to have a minimum in a stat or a certain amount of training or a certain kind of spell that is compatible with the feature. And so the way this is going to work for now, we'll come back around to this in a little bit. The way this is going to work for now is just pick one that you meet the prerequisites for. And then we'll come back around. Most of you will probably get a second one. But for now, just pick one to start. All you have to do is make sure you meet the prerequisites. Again, there are suggestions based on the vague character archetypes. But whatever you want, you can do.
What do you think of parry and riposte?
Parry and riposte is good. Yeah, where's that?
That was the next one I was looking at too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good one for agile, light melee style.
I think Mitch, if you're good, I think I'm going to go that route.
You go that way. You
Okay.
go that way. I think I'm gonna go with adrenaline boost.
All right,
That extra turn
it'll come in handy.
will come in handy.
But yeah, take Mage Hunter for now. Katie, what are you looking at?
Destruction Mage.
Destruction Mage.
4 of my spells are destruction spells, so
You qualify.
I'm gonna change my luck to charisma or sense. Probably sense and still avoid charisma, but it's gonna be Peace God's Blessing. Nobody touch me.
That is kind of what it does. Yeah, it's sort of
Fair.
sanctuary like.
I'm harmless. I'm just Tomb Raider if all they did was heal
4 times a day.
4 times a day.
Nice. Let's do it.
All right, good. We got our features. So Meg, we'll come back around now to the Hard of Hearing thing. That is on page 70. So the way these work, and these are all super, super beta and untested, right? They may change in the full game. But the way they work is on page 70, I have a couple of relatively common disabilities with game stats. And they're free, right? You don't have to pay improvement points or your one starting feature to have a disability. They happen if your character has them. And then on the next page, I have features that you can take in conjunction with them that sort of overcome them or leverage them in a certain way. So for now, if you want, just take the Heart of Hearing, and then we'll come back around to the other feature very shortly. And then for people listening, the way that works is that you have disadvantage on detection checks based on hearing, and passive detection is reduced by 2, but because you've been living with that, you're used to keeping your eyes open, you have advantage on detection checks based on sight. So overall, only it's a trade-off, and then just a slight negative in the passive detection. So that's all that is. Step 6 is leveling up, more or less. It's called improvement points in this, and the way this works is at the end of every session, based on how much you guys got done, I decide, like, okay, you got a lot done, here's 30 improvement points. You only got a little bit done, we just kind of traveled or something, here's 5 improvement points, whatever it is, right? At the end of every long rest, so sometimes that'll be in the middle of a session, sometimes that'll be at the end of a session, whatever. At the end of a long rest, you can spend your improvement points on incremental upgrades. So that's all on page 72, 73. What I'm going to do with you guys now, since you've all played a shit ton of games before, and you're experienced, and you kind of know how this works, I'm going to give you 100 improvement points. That's where we're going to start.
Oh, my goodness.
My good sir.
Yes. You're welcome.
Okay.
Oh, man.
So you can see there on page 73 what you can spend those on. So,
Raggy.
Meg, for you, we'll immediately loop back around to the hearing aid, which is a feature that you can spend 60 of those IP on, if you would like.
Yes. Would like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead.
Okay. No, you go.
I was just going to say what it does feature-wise. So what the hearing aid does is the only prerequisite is that you have the deaf or hard of hearing feature already, and it just cancels out all the negative effects of those features while you keep the positive ones. So the net effect of being hard of hearing and having a hearing aid mechanically is you have advantage on sight detection checks. That's where we end up. And
Nice.
you're going to flavor that however you like with your character's backstory and stuff.
Yes.
It's magic, obviously, because they haven't really been invented yet.
So these, we go out and we buy... We can use the IP cost on page 73 to increase our stats, correct?
Yep, it says what everything costs there.
It does.
Rad.
So bump your training points. I recommend buying a second feature.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've spent our free GM before the game IP. Let's go down the line and tell everybody what we bought. Katie, what did you get?
I bought blood magic.
You know, you can just
I
buy
bought blood
that.
magic feature. And then I also bought a point in vitality so that my hit points can go up to 28.
Good.
Classic.
The end.
And you're hanging on to 10.
Yeah, I'll hang on to the 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meg?
I got a matching hearing aid for my hard of hearing. And then I popped a point into luck. I don't know quite why, but I had an inkling to do it. So
Why
it was like a gut. Exactly. It was a gut reaction.
It just
and
kind
I'm
of fits for a thief type character to be
It
lucky.
does to have a little extra luck. And then I'm also saving.
Sure. Since your luck went up, make sure your hero points go up. Just by 1.
Oh, yes.
Sam, what'd you spend your IP on?
So I did get a second feat in Inquisitor sense, because it makes sense, and then I popped an extra point into Ref, and I'm going to save my remaining 10 points.
All right. Very good. Mitch, what did you buy?
I bought an extra feature, always ready, or always alert, I should say. He may not have the dedicated training for detection, but he is kind of aware of things and ready.
Right, just
for
sort of
generalized
naturally.
trouble.
Yeah.
Naturally. And then I popped a couple extra points into unarmed fighting. I brought my persuasion up, and I brought my society up to a 7.
Okay, good. And Charm, what'd you buy?
Howdy doody. I spent 60 on a feature for Grace of the Gods because giving blessings sounds like exactly what I would be up to. And I spent another 15 on adding a 1 charisma, bringing my 0 up to a 1.
30. You said 15.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
Look at that line.
Just making sure.
Thank you.
Just making sure.
You know what's funny is I wrote 30 first and then went, that says 15. And then I wrote 30 again. And then
Other
that says
way.
15. So, you know,
We've done a lot of math today.
All right, great.
Making the 10.
So that is features. The next thing is equipment inventory. So the way this works, again, because there's no classes, everybody just gets 150 money, because Big Adventure Game is setting agnostic. At this stage, we just call it money. In Krataris, that happens to be silver coins for the most part. But for now, it's just money. No specific currency. So you get 150 money to spend as you like on the big old list of equipment. Weapons, armor, other miscellany. If you want to skip a bunch of that effort, again, I have templates. Tells you how much money you have left over, tells you how much it weighs at the end of the day. This is probably going to take a minute, so I'm actually going to kill the recording and cut and come back. So we'll see you in a few minutes after we spend 150 silver. All right, we're back from buying equipment. I'm not going to make you guys list everything you bought, but just like major things, you know, main primary weapons, armor. What did we end up buying? Katie, what do you got?
I bought no armor and a dagger. Right. I also have like dust bottles, fancy clothes, winter clothes, then the like tent stuff and spell scroll kit and an alchemy kit.
Okay, good. Yeah, utility stuff as a wizard. That tracks.
Yes. Food, rope, soap.
Food, rope, soap.
And handcuffs, because I feel like they're going to be necessary at some point, so.
Meg, what do you got?
I went pretty close to the suggested one for assassin. I was trying to like move some stuff around. I still might, but at this moment, I'm at like double dagger, short bow, grapple hook, and some rope.
Sure.
And then a bag of caltrops. How do you actually say that word? Caltrops. Yeah. A bag of them. Bag of those.
Armor.
And some fancy clothes for reason.
Armor.
Oh, yeah, leather armor.
Great.
I promise that's there. That's like one of those things where I'm like, duh.
Yeah. Gotta make sure.
No, I promise. It's there. It's in my list. I see it.
Sam, what do you got?
I stayed pretty close also to the Inquisitor, like kind of suggested, but I swapped out a couple of things. Like I swapped out the rapier and a few other things and went for, I got a random crowbar, which I'm really excited about. I went for the longbow, which is also very exciting. Another fun one is a vial of truth serum. I also have some handcuffs, so be there. And then soap and winter clothes, the necessities.
Great. Mitch, what'd you buy?
I did not stay close to any recommendations for anything. Instead, I bought myself a spear, 2 brass knuckles, some chainmail, winter clothes, and most importantly, dust bottles and fire bottles.
Okay.
Because I like to be diverse in my approach.
Shield or no shield?
No shield. Okay. I'm already at 17, and I have 43 hit points.
Okay.
Shield is his body.
Everybody remember that when he's knocked down.
Our
shield.
When I'm slowly bleeding out, please remember that I have 43 hit points.
Got you.
Char, what'd you buy?
All right, so I got myself that good leather armor. I've got myself, a backpack, some simple clothes, some winter clothes, water, skin, rope, rations, heal kit, torch, also soap, so soap squad represent, and a light crossbow, like a little hand one, just in my pocket as needed, some ammo for that, but most importantly, a scythe, because the vibes are immaculate.
Reasons. A scythe that you're untrained with.
To have a scythe, come on.
I did realize that I grabbed rations and water skins. Don't need them. Sold them back.
You don't.
I don't need them. I don't need them.
Did grab those, and that's really funny.
Unless you want to just have one of each, just to pretend to eat.
Though?
None of us.
What if they're really
buy?
Good tasting?
None of us
For
did buy.
fun.
Look at these carbo-heavy rations.
I did get some rations. I got some water skins.
Okay. As long as you got a couple. We're starting in a relatively easy temperate forest climate.
Yeah, they're there,
hunting
though.
and foraging is not rocket science.
No one bought potions or spell scrolls.
I
There's a
brought
spell
a spell
scroll.
scroll kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm pointing
Yeah,
at Katie in my corner.
you can craft them relatively easily. We can come around to that, and they'll be loot too.
I don't need potions. I'm just here.
And
I
so
am-
that
We
is
are the death.
I'm
that's the
potion.
majority of the mechanical stuff. That's really just about everything.
Heck yeah.
So now we're gonna get into backstory stuff. We'll keep it pretty simple for the purposes of this recording. We can get into like long, prosaic, detailed descriptions of things as we like between now and the recording or the stream of the first episode. But we will, for now, just kind of hit the major points as they are laid out in the rulebook, just because that's an easy way to look at things. So, names, early upbringing, education and training, relationships, goals, any loose ends and mysteries you have, beliefs, personality, identifiers, and physical appearance. So we'll just kind of run through these pretty casually. Starting with names, I guess, because it happens to be first. The setting guide does give guidance on naming things. There's a whole section on the lineages and lore-friendly names. So if you guys if you haven't thought about it all yet, it's there on page 36. If you have, if anyone is settled on a name, let me know. Yes, Meg.
Page 36. I'm gonna look at names.
36.
Theodosia Wing. 2 names. Theodosia is the first one.
Okay.
Wing the second.
Okay. Do you have a last name?
Winks is the last name.
Okay. I had
W-I-N-A.
like a whole thing for like the way last names work for elves specifically.
Oh, do you really want? Okay, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if that was specific.
I mean,
Then-
you can use that as a name, like as an alias, but like,
Oh, then. Okay, that's the alias. Let me get you the full name in a second.
okay. Yeah.
I mean, my
Well, I
first
really
name's
want-
Oh,
Brony.
wait, do you have specifics for all the last names or just the elf last names?
Just elves, dwarves, really just elves and dwarves. For humans, Drake Bloods, Nether Bloods, and Risen, which is the rest of you, human names reflective of the culture of the region that is, what you're based on, right? Basically, the way this whole big world works is that each of these nations, fictional nations, is based on, loosely, a broad, real human cultural group. So where we are in Ybor for the campaign, if you're from Ybor, then that's broadly anything Mediterranean, anything that kind of used to be Rome.
I will admit mine is probably very fantasy-like, but it is based off a real name. So
What do you got?
Yeah, same.
Zephyrosian Glint.
Okay.
Ooh.
Nice.
Where would
I
that
like
be
it.
from? Both real
So
and fake.
It is inspired by Taiwanese or not, sorry, Vietnamese.
Okay.
Glint is obviously a fake name.
Right. Yeah.
But for like his actual backstory, he was raised by. There's a reason why on mine oh boy, how did I pronounce this? The area. Sorry, the area starts with Z. Almost mispronounced it.
Yeah. Zamnesia.
Zamnesia. I put Zamnesian Creole as a form of he learned part of it and is just mixed in with Iborian.
Okay. Yeah, like an immigrant language, like
Yeah. So he
minority
is from.
population, a
I didn't mean
dialect.
to steal anybody else's spotlight. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I love the super deep historical detail stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm. I've got Roni Zarjin.
Okay, and where's she from?
Lawn. She's from Southern Lawn, really close to the border with Gunratha. And so her name is kind of a little bit close to both Gujarati and Langwari language.
Right.
I have mine.
Katie, go ahead.
Yes.
I'm gonna be from Nurograd.
Okay.
The name's gonna be Machia Nebo, which
Okay.
is Ukrainian for magic sky.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Meg, do you want to keep your real name secret, or
No, so that's where I'm stuck. And maybe we could brainstorm.
sure?
Because in the booklet it says like the capital of the land of the elves is Taladison.
Yeah.
So essentially Theodosia is. I would like for her to be of royalty and to kind of have a reputation almost
Sure.
of Jasmine meets Esmeralda in the sense, but if Esmeralda stole stuff,
Okay.
Esmeralda steals stuff. But wait, follow me here.
I'm on it.
Basically, that she kind of abandoned her royal duties and didn't give a shit about it. And people probably heard. Things go through the grapevine, even in Elven territory.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be a story that, like, the average person in Ybor knows, but, like, any sort of dignitary would probably be aware of.
Exactly. That's why I bought the fancy clothes. And she doesn't keep it a secret because she doesn't give a shit. So
Okay.
that's why I was like, I don't want to keep it a secret here. But where I'm stuck is where could that lineage be from?
Probably from the capital. No reason
You
why
would say
not.
that's where
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Which would mean that your real last name would start with Ur.
Ur, right? Okay. I know. I kept a royalty. I didn't keep royalty a secret, and I know it's usually the people. Like,
It usually is.
secrets.
I mean,
And I'm
in
like,
character, the players
Oh.
won't know about it until you tell them. But yeah, when you recap your backstory in session 1, I guess you can just tell the audience.
Yeah.
They can know. It's one of the. I kind of want to play it differently than the. Nobody knows.
Sam, have we settled on a country of origin?
What's the biggest city in Ybor?
The biggest one is Imperia, which is where you're not allowed to be from, specifically. I don't want you guys to be from the
Where
area
you're not allowed to.
where the
from.
game is going to take
Okay.
place. I want you to be a visitor. You can be from elsewhere in Ybor.
What's the second biggest city?
I don't have a name for it offhand. So,
Cool. Well, that's where I'm from.
yeah, it's southern Ybor, let's say. So that would be... so central Ybor would be like Spanish and Italian. Southern coast of Ybor would be... Or excuse me, Spanish and French. Southern coast of Ybor would be like Greek. So some name from those cultures would be good.
I'm gonna go with Pandora. I'm looking up a last name that I can pronounce.
Okay. That would be
What?
Greek.
Fair. So did you have a box in your inventory? Please make sure you have at least one.
Yeah.
a
You
box?
have to take the magic
Even
box.
just a
pill now.
cardboard box.
You don't want to know
Yeah.
what's in there.
There may or may not be a cat. We won't know until we open it.
Probably a cat.
It may or may not be dead. Anyway, so we've got names. We can iron out some of the details of surnames later.
I'm gonna need an extra minute or two for that.
Yeah. So let's just briefly. You guys have a Google Doc where we're keeping track of basic backstory details. Just get a sentence in for each of these bullet points. Let's start with like your early life.
Oh, only a sentence. I need to trim mine down.
Well, just for now. If you have more already,
Here.
great. I'm just saying for bullet points that are still blank, just get something in. Whoever has something and wants to go first, just say like, "Hey, my early life was like this." But
Oh yeah. Brony's early life was born and raised in Southern Lawn, near the border of Gunrada. Their family is super proud of them, or was anyway. They had a pretty surprisingly chill life, despite being Drakeblood. Like they had some childhood teasing here and there, and a little bit of curiosity from other people, but nothing ever super rude or anything like that, because that's not how the world works.
right.
Otherwise, they joined the clergy because being far away from Imperia, it was a much more positive experience. Supporting the people a little bit more than regulating the people. So for them, it was extremely like, this is the golden place to be. This is the best thing in the world. Yet.
Missions, you have stuff written down already.
Oh boy.
Quick summary of the early life. What do you got going on?
Quick summary of the early life. All right.
Yeah.
Family came from, or immigrants or migrant workers from, I almost mispronounced it again.
It's your home. You got to learn it.
It is. I will.
Zymesia.
Zymesia. Okay, almost spelled exactly like it seems. From across the Southern Sea, they ended up on a small little coastal land that I just kind of give a very quick name to.
Sure.
Where they would work as camp followers for the local military outpost there. He's the oldest of 6, and he was one put to work the earliest to help out the rest of the family. However, he's Netherblood, so people were kind of confused about that anyway. But unfortunately, he did have to join the military, that outpost in particular, because they just couldn't make enough money to feed everybody.
Nice. Oh fuck! I should have siblings. You're so right.
I mean,
Kidding.
not mandatory.
Well, as an only child in real life, I like having siblings in fantasy.
As the oldest of many siblings.
Yeah.
And
I
then
like having Mhm.
whenever anybody else wants to say anything, whenever you've got anything written down, or if you just want to spitball for now.
Yeah, Alex, I have some questions. So you had put in, because I read it in your note there, life in Arcanum. Is that you're putting like, is that the institution that they are?
Yeah,
sent to, or
so
that they
you as
grow up in?
a magic person, even with your relatively low magic score, you would have been noticed at some point, most likely as a kid or a teenager. And the protocol for that in human lands is to send you away to a magic school called an Arcanum. No option. You have to go. And so while you're there, you're learning magic. Maybe because your magic score is only 1, you weren't like, the best student or whatever, right? You can kind of talk about that. And then when you get out, at some point you enlisted with the Inquisition for some period of time. So, for early life, so talk about what was it like growing up in the Arcanum? When were you discovered? That sort of thing.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to have to think about all that. I'm not going to give that to you.
Yeah.
It's very
But me spitballing it is fine as long as there's something for the show.
No, absolutely. It's very like Templar.
It's very Dragon Age
Ish
Temple.
vibe.
Yeah, imagine if
Okay.
in Dragon Age you could go to school to be a mage and then join the Templars for a little while, right?
Right. But because some of them did become Templars. and
Well,
then
they
were
at least
like, "Well."
worked with them. Yeah. You wouldn't
Yeah,
be knighted
okay.
generally, but you could work with them. But here it's all one organization. So they'd be like, oh, okay, well you're not like the best mage, but you're pretty good at stealth stuff, and you've got a couple of spells that would be helpful. So we'll employ you formally as an Inquisitor. And then for some reason you left. We'll figure that out later.
Okay.
Since my girl's risen out the dirt,
Right. How
Fresh out
recently,
that
by the way?
that's what I'm figuring out. So the experience of being risen aspect of it is that she clawed her way out of the dirt in a small cemetery in a coastal town. She saw her name on the tombstone. She was 23 when she died. I want her to have died a relatively long time ago, but only risen
Okay,
like 10 years ago, maybe?
sure.
So she died like 50 years ago? Would that work in where we are in the timeline
In the time,
of what you have
that's
planned?
that's
Okay.
fine. Yep.
Okay. So then she died 50 years ago.
Yeah, there wouldn't be like a
And-
war going on or anything at that time in particular to connect it
Yeah.
to, but nonetheless,
Okay. And so she was risen 10 years ago and then in time has done her things.
all the way over on
and then
the coast of Nurgrad, and then
Yeah.
came to walked real far east southeast for a while.
yeah, so what happened immediately as she literally came out of the dirt, ran into an undead sympathizer who informed her that the nearby town where her like family would be, or any least answers would be, are like very anti-undead.
Sure.
So she just left without like finding any answers. She was just like, well,
Right, they're gonna
guess
kill
I'm
me if
not
I go
getting
there.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would recognize you because
Um,
you used to live there and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And the only clue she has, which she will keep secret from everybody, is that she has 16 scars on her body that are dark purple scars that were most likely from poisoned arrows, 3 of them to the heart.
That's a lot of arrows.
That's a lot of
You got fucking-
arrows.
Somebody really wanted you dead.
You got fucking Boromir'd.
Yes, but they're all like,
You got Boromir.
Amazing.
so yeah, that's the least the early of the risen life, because I have none of the early actual life.
Right, but we'll come back around. So Meg, for you, early life would be princess shit. How was that?
Yeah. She did.
And
not like
I'll start calling you by real character names at some point, but they're just not on the graphics yet.
That's okay. Princess shit didn't enjoy it at all. Didn't like the idea of being held down and stuck. I'm still working on the reasoning for the hearing loss, but I believe that is something that she would have kept more to herself. So once I figure it out, I will.
Sure.
The people that need to know.
Yeah. For now, we're just spitballing bullet points just so people can know where the ideas came from.
Spitballing.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially being a royalty in like the capital, it was
Mhm.
extra. Like it wasn't like another royal person in the north towards the ice area. Where was my? Definitely like due to obviously the age of elves, far off from being queen, but has escaped the where she lives to like go learn different things, which is why she knows more melee than you'd anticipate a druid to know. And probably went and like hung out with more forest elves, like didn't want to
Yeah.
necessarily be in the hustle and bustle. So went and hung out with forest elves, which is where the druid powers came from. So like yeah, pretty standard situation of princess that doesn't situation. And ask me questions that might help me explain better.
Yeah. So with the hard of hearing and the hearing aid thing, was that like a motivation to go learn magic? Perhaps.
I would say so because the way her hearing aid will work is we went through a couple. Alex and I did talk about a couple of different options. Because obviously we do not have technology. I went the enchanted jewelry route. So she does have like a bunch of different earrings and cuffs on her very beautiful pointed ears that then therefore act as her hearing.
Right.
Nice.
And gave more in a very daredevil-y way. Opposite, obviously. I'm trying to explain
Daredevil.
this.
Heightened perception.
Reverse Daredevil.
Yeah.
Of learning thievery, but she takes some of her princess training of like dance and stuff and uses that in the way that she thieves. I'm a little bit of a klepto as she got a little older and was like, "Ooh, this is fun," and then realized she's using her powers not for good.
All right. So yeah, I feel like in all of that we kind of covered education and training to a degree.
Yeah.
I think we should hear specifically more about that from Katie, though, because you had a specific right after you unearthed. Where did you go to practice magic?
I clawed my way out of the dirt.
Very
important. Because the town that was nearby was clearly not going to be welcoming, I went off to find people that were. I ran into a bunch of witches who at first seemed to be super nice, super kind, super like just cool. We're okay with you. Join us. And then while they learned that I could do magic, they took that as an opportune time to train me with distance murder magic. Basically, they just trained me. The idea is that they're magic supremacists who just want magic to be free and kill everyone that doesn't think that. So they trained me to kill clergy to help make sure that happens. I know.
No, this is gonna get awkward.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
However,
I can't watch.
The thing I haven't decided yet is they either sent me on a mission to do something that I could not morally agree with, or there was something that I'm still trying to fine tune and figure out was something made me separate from them. So I don't feel like killing the clergy anymore. I don't particularly like them, but it's not like an instant, oh, I see one, you're gone. I'm not going to just murder.
You're not vaporizing.
But I can use those murder skills to like make money. I'll be like an assassin for hire or a magic assassin for hire, sort of.
Speaking of which, segueing, Charm, your character goes into the priesthood. Why'd you do that? What was that training like? That sort of thing.
Well, I mean, the clergy is so great, you know, all around. Everything about them was so wonderful. Obviously, they had the best intentions at heart at all points in time.
Just a big jug of Kool-Aid.
Yep, just chugging it. So yeah, they moved away from home in their late teens to study closer to Ivor, but not in Ivor, so like right on the border of the mountains, but they were too terrified to actually cross the border, and then also had that like, what if I'm not good enough for the people from the, you know, the actual like main section to believe that I could be part of them.
Those snooty Imperials. Yeah,
like they're a little scary, you know. But they excelled super well. They joined the clergy formally pretty early, excelled in those studies as well. I had the idea that they worked in a mage tower, but they didn't quite see the drama of what was happening with mages specifically at that point in time. Like in their mind, they were like ensuring order and safety and everything's
Sure,
great.
you just like worked in the chapel there or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then at some point, as an adult, they developed magical skill out of nowhere. And for them, that was a shocking. And at first, they were just like, I have to study how I got this. This doesn't make any sense. That's not how it's supposed to work.
And also illegal, essentially.
And illegal,
You would be sent away.
Yeah,
if you were found
so
out.
they, first they hid it for a while, and then they started looking for more information everywhere they could. And eventually, I have noted that like they were found out, but because their magic was purely support based, they kind of were like, "We'll just put you in an Arcanum, no big deal." I know my camera froze, but we're moving past that. And there they only did Heelys, no bad things ever. And that's when they learned that something's wrong here because they got forced into the position of being the thing that was being suppressed, right? After not being that.
I don't like it when it happens to me.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh wait, this is what was happening. I'm so sorry."
Oh no!
And then they also started realizing that a lot of their questions about where magic came from also may or may not go against some of the clergy's beliefs in God, and that God supplies all magic and don't ask questions. Started realizing they needed to study how life happens and death happens, and ventured into necromantic studies, and went off the deep end with the studying. And at that point, it became, you can't stay here anymore. But you're not doing bad boy magic. You're just studying it. So you can be expelled. No.
They wouldn't really expel you, but maybe you felt the threat was lingering and then you dipped.
Yes.
Escaped.
So they left, took up adventuring to kind of make their ends meet and also to be able to venture into questionable ancient sites where they might find more wisdom into those lingering questions of how do life and the universe happen.
Great. So then, again, we kind of briefly touched a little bit on everybody else's training, military, Inquisition, and various princess and druid shenanigans. So
shirt I need.
quickly,
Princess
just because
and
this
druid
video is probably getting long. Relationships, goals, loose ends, just like what else you got going on besides whatever the main quest of the campaign ends up being. You'll find out. What other sort of unfinished business do any of you have?
I have to know the whole story about the first witch.
Okay.
That was noted in the timeline. I have to know. I also need to know how Ashara happened to coalesce into being. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Something's wrong. I'm sus.
You're the conspiracy theorist in the party.
I am, but I'm also a skittish perfectionist, and I have anxiety out the ass.
Gotcha.
I love it.
I mean, I'm just happy to be here.
You're just murking it up, just doing mercenary shit.
Well, no, actually, it's very much. I mean, he was in prison for a little while after doing some things he probably shouldn't be doing in the military.
What?
And he discovered that one, the military kind of sucks, and instead went to go, well, why don't I just help people instead? And that's what he does. That's why he does what he does. It's not just murking things for money; it's murking things for solidarity instead.
Nice.
So he's
Alex,
just happy
I'm
to
gonna
be
work
here.
out
Yeah.
part of the, for whatever reason, I have a loony in mind of like why I left.
Yeah.
That like out in the greater world is going to be some sort of driving force for me now that I'm
right.
gone,
Why are you
so.
no longer an Inquisitor? Why are you now independent?
Right.
All of us are running from something.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean?
No.
Running away from our problems. What?
Yeah.
Speaking of running away, no one has run farther away than Meg's character. So what the hell are you doing over here?
I wrote, so for goals, I did write thieve, explore, escape as like a question mark. I'm still developing a little more as to exactly why she got over there to Ybor, because I haven't quite settled on it. But the initial thought was simple and I've thieved and wandered enough here that people know who I am,
Mm.
and I keep getting forced to go back to where I don't want to go. That if I go across the big scary ocean eye, maybe people will leave me alone and I can thieve and dance in private.
Sure. General
That's where
escapism.
I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I think there's another underlying layer.
Sure, more
but
to it, but
I gotta find it.
Katie, any specific unfinished business?
Finding out why I'm dead
Yeah.
or why I have
Or
poisoned arrows.
why you're alive more, but yeah.
That's true. Why I died,
Why you're dead
I'm
is
alive.
all the way over there.
Why and
Not
what
that it
life?
couldn't be connected, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Why, what, when life? Yeah, just kind of figuring out anything about my past and why I'm now awake after 40 years in the dirt.
It's a good album name.
40 years in the
40
dirt.
years
Yeah,
in the
it's good.
dirt, yeah.
Mm.
Damn, there's some good album names here.
Yeah.
What
I'm
is
not.
it?
I
Monsters
don't have
and
a notebook
Medicine?
any.
Monsters and medicine.
Yeah.
Or medicine and
Debut album,
monsters.
40 years in the
There we
dirt.
go.
Yeah.
Meg and I did have a relationship together.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So how would
Like,
you
at
two
least-
have met shortly before the campaign?
The shtick that we kind of came up with was that we're both in Ybor for various reasons. I had been hired by some rich old lady to get back by any means a ruby that was stolen from her. I found the thief. I murdered the thief. I got the ruby back while the ruby was in my possession at a tavern. Theodosia came in to try to steal it from me. I noticed Theodosia trying. She did not hear me move the ruby from one pocket to the other, and she tried to go into one pocket. I caught her. We then flirted, and she's like, just join me in my thievery. So we just decided to join hands in thievery and murder and just work together.
Cool.
It's been like a month
Very
or
cool.
a month and a half,
Yeah.
2 months maybe.
It's still a rather new.
Yeah, like we just
Connection.
met.
Right. You don't know everything about each other yet. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've determined that like, she would realize what I am.
Right. But not necessarily
Yeah.
have any particular biases about it because
Yeah.
that's not a
Yeah.
thing that happens over in Arborville.
Yeah.
So
I think if anything, she's more curious
right. You
Yeah.
probably would be like shocked and taken aback by it because
at first.
undead
totally,
are
yeah.
as scary over there as they are over here, but this particular brand of undead is not a thing that you're well, you know.
My brand.
Anyway, then yeah, now like I said, personality identifiers, appearance. What does everybody look like? What do you like to be called? All of that.
Mostly kind of human, but paler and kind of just more dead. She will often probably wear some type of lipstick to help diffuse some of the clear
The blue,
signs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Blue.
I would love for the top part of my right ear and my left pinky tip to have like decayed off and not come back. So
Okay.
there's like some slight obvious things of decay, but
Gloves,
like
hair
you
down.
could-
Yeah.
yeah, like it's things that like you could be like, okay, maybe she lost it in a
Yeah,
fight
yeah.
or a dog attack or something.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. But she's about 5'7", slim, blonde, has turquoise eyes that are speckled with black in and out of the iris
Okay.
to kind of just show more of that kind of decay or something clearly
as shit.
yeah.
Nice.
And what else did I write? That's it. That's all I wrote for the appearance so far.
Pretty standard, like strawberry blondish, more towards the red hair, long, standard elf. A little bit of a less of the like Legolas straight hair and more of like royal, beautiful, bouncy curls. Striking green eyes to go with that reddish hair. On the taller end, probably about like a 5'10", not tallest, but 5'10", 5'11". Slim. She moves pretty fast. She's not as tiny as you'd think most thieves would be, but I think it helps.
You average taller and
Average
lankier,
to
so
tall.
yeah.
Yeah, she's not small. Obviously we talked about the enchanted jewelry,
Right.
the earrings that go into like a cuff that build up onto her left ear, and which is the ear I am hard of hearing in. And from her encounter with her lovely risen friend, there is a small scar right on kind of the base of her neck where
You like had a dagger to each
maybe
other. Like,
maybe a
Yeah.
dagger had gotten hooked on, but that's the only kind of distinctive marking. So she's
Sure.
able to get away with the hiding thing.
yeah, you put a hood up and you're good. Yeah.
Exactly, but that's a now distinctive.
All good stuff. Sam, what does your character look like, more or less?
Yeah, good old human, a good
Yeah.
average 5'8", not too tall, not too short. The one thing that stands out about her though is she's definitely like, you would like clock her as militant, like very like armor very clean, boots very polished, not a hair out of place.
Very together.
Like a very meticulously like very together person. But like somewhat unremarkable in the way that like you could very easily like lose her in a crowd of people, and could
Perfect
not
spy.
like really no identifiable features, very hooded. But like, yeah, the only thing is you'd be like, wow, that's some like really polished armor, my friend. It's very shiny. So I think you would probably clock her more from how she's dressed than anything remarkable of really like her face or
Did
her
you put soap in
stature.
your inventory?
Did you put soap?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Soap Squad.
Were you one of the
So
soap
it was
people?
worth it.
After every fight, just
real quick.
getting all the blood
Yeah.
off the armor.
Yeah, there's like a little. Yeah, she's got like a twinge of OCD for sure.
Sure.
I love that.
The taste.
Yeah. Mitchell, your fiend folk. What does he look like?
Oh boy. We're making him short king.
Okay.
5'3",
Yeah.
strong man build, very round, very stout, very powerfully built. Hairy, salt and pepper hair all across the body.
Obsessed.
Cerulean skin that has like
Okay.
a bunch of scars that he had to sew up himself,
Yes.
like from his time
Aw.
in prison.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hair is in dreads, wild and all over, and he seems to have recently started to regrow his horns after they had to be shaved down repeatedly over a military
For
career.
military
And
uniform
prison.
service.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh,
That's
God.
clever.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
Would've thought
so
of that.
cool.
So they're a little shorter still, but he's capped them in like bronze or copper jewelry. He wears a lot of leather necklaces, things he's like taken in lieu of payment for jobs from other people who either couldn't afford his services or shrugs and just goes, silver isn't worth it here. I'll just take,
A trinket.
some sign
Yeah.
that I helped you, and we're good.
I love it. Yeah, super unique.
No,
Yeah.
that-
And
Gorgeous.
Charm, go ahead.
Hello. So Roni is hilariously somewhere between 5'3" and 5'5", so hanging out with the short king.
All right, you get on his
she
shoulders, and then
Together we'll be almost the same height as Meg.
Who wants to be the arm?
none of
Who
you
wants
are
to be
even
the
over 6 feet
Yeah.
tall. It's
No, we're not. She is deceptively average. She wears a lot of layers. But she mainly has the Krataris style hair loopies from Avatar: The Last Airbender. If
I
you
love
remember
it.
those. So she's got like the little front loopies that go back. She keeps her hair mostly in a bun with a little bit of bangs. Wrapped around that bun is like a remnants of her old clergy robes. Otherwise, she has her typical Drake blood like scales a little bit on top of some tawny skin. The scales are mostly hidden because they're mainly on like hands, legs, feet, back torso, and face, which she keeps like gloves, boots, like all layers. There's not really that much skin showing except her face. But she does have 6 horns in total. 2 on the top that are extremely stubby, and then 2 more that come out at the side of the head above the ears. Thank you. Which also, again, have a little bit of that fire-esque coloration. All of her like ornamentational motifs are fire and flower based. And then otherwise, she has a pomander on her at all times. That's full of like lilacs and generally like any other herbs that she kind of finds, as well as some oils. She will also brandish it as a weapon if need be, and put blood in it, because it's a weapon. Otherwise, carries a lot of books, way too many books, and that's mostly it, I think.
You're a nerd. Yeah.
I am the nerd.
Someone has to be the nerd here, okay?
No, that's all super cool.
It's
That's
my
all great.
hole. I fit in this hole every time.
At least it's a comfy hole.
Yeah, all excellent stuff. Great. So then the very last thing to finish up character creation, it's on page 97, is something called the Backstory Boon. So now that we've talked through who we are, what we've done in life, you get one piece of that now becomes part of your character mechanically. So you can either take an additional training point, and you can stack it on any of your skills. Doesn't matter if it's already over 7 or whatever. So to reflect that you have some extra experience, some extra training. So like Mitchell hypothetically could take an extra point in medium melee because you're a soldier and you're trained, right? Hypothetically. You could take fluency in an additional language if you don't feel like you have enough of them and you feel like you've traveled and, you should have that. You could take 50 additional money if you feel like your character should be rich. And hypothetically, you could go back and spend it for equipment, or you could just hold on to it. You can have a single valuable trinket, so something like a signet ring or a holy book or something like that doesn't really do anything, but is valuable and has some sort of potential plot value. Or you can take a pet, any level 0 or level 1 beast. There's stats for those at the end of the books, if you want them. So what are you guys looking at for backstory boons? What sticks out?
My immediate thought went, "Ooh, a pet," and then I went, "I am the pet." I am the druid.
Yeah, might be a little redundant. Yeah.
Especially because most of my animal shapes will be at low level beasts.
Yeah.
They are mainly used for the snake. Oh God, I feel like I have to go either for my backstory. I have to go either additional language in terms of like what she learned growing up,
Church, general
or
education.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm between those two right now.
Man, that's a tough decision. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I inherently want a pet. as someone who loves animals, I inherently want a pet.
You gotta keep it alive.
But like for story reasons, I'm thinking a valuable trinket stolen from somebody.
Or as one of those things that you said is payment for some job.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or maybe looted off of some villain,
A plot relevant trinket is what I'll put on my sheet.
You can figure it out later, yeah.
Exactly.
A trinket.
It's a box for my trinket.
Thank you.
Oh no, not the boxes again.
You stole a really, really expensive pen from your commandant that you beat up.
You have like an officer's pin, like.
Like, maybe I should give this back.
No. This is an example.
The only thing I kept with me in prison.
I'm torn between the additional language for something like a really bizarre language that you would only pick up.
Yeah, like one of the
pick
monstrous
up from like
languages.
ruins or some stuff. Like a really historic ruin type language.
Yeah,
Or
that would be
a valuable trinket.
Tenebrian would be the weirdest one. That's like the Eldritch language.
I'm gonna pick a locket that she was buried with that has her family.
Knew you
photo
were
in
gonna
it.
go that route.
Yes.
Knew it. Like,
It's good.
It's the choice. It's the only choice. Yeah.
Yes.
Fancy locket buried.
I feel like
with
a lot of Risen players are gonna do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
it's easy.
It's so good.
It's
it's
the
so
fruit's
good.
right there. The fruit is right
Yeah.
there.
It's just ready for you.
I think I'm going to take the additional training point and put it into magic because I think that would make
Sure.
sense for backstory.
Yeah, and as an Inquisitor, know your enemy, right? So.
Can I learn Etheric?
Yeah.
Formally? Okay.
That wouldn't even be that weird as a priest.
That wasn't
That's-
super weird, but
yeah.
I wasn't sure if that would be.
Specifically as a priest, like for a general person,
Yeah.
that would be weird. But
Yeah, okay, fair.
For a jungle person. Oh man.
and that is sort of the point of the backstory boon, is right. It's like I spend a bunch of time in the priesthood. I speak
Yep.
the language that angels speak. Great. Like,
And you know what? I had put that in a goal, learn the language of angels, so we're just gonna that right off.
Look at
Goal
that.
accomplished. We haven't even started the game.
all right, take
You
your
guys
improvement
wish you
points.
were me.
And now my need for adventure has ended. before I even began.
All right, everybody, great. The show's over. Goodbye.
No, don't worry. I put in like one of those unachievable or seems unachievable super objectives. That's just like
Kill
the
God.
it's find the source of magic, and I feel like the source of a magic like system is not something you attain. So I put
This
that
is the
in
first
there.
campaign in this system. I'd like to leave
Exactly.
some mysteries unsolved.
Exactly. So I was like, that's something that's like so
Maybe a hint.
unattainable, but would be extremely motivating. Mm-hmm.
Did everybody pick? I've blanked.
We got language. We got
Language,
trinket,
trinket,
training.
training.
Meg was still deciding between her two.
Yes.
Who's up there in my screen?
That's me. Hi.
She's below me in mine.
Oh man,
I'm in the top left.
I'm everywhere.
You're on the top left for me too.
Okay, so brain think.
I believe in you.
Why wear magic?
Brain
Why
thing
am
is
I
not on this
Why
list.
wear
Trinket.
magic?
Oh.
I was searching for the language list and then I realized it was in the settings handbook and not the other
Right.
one. And I was like, oh, there it is. Initial thought was like, yeah, education. She would have another language under her belt from just standard royalty teachings.
Yeah.
But then I saw Fae was an option. And if she was sneaking
I knew
away
it.
into the forest,
Yeah, the Fae are definitely more common in Arboril, so
Yeah.
that would fit for
So
story
I-
reasons.
I think for story reason, I want to go learn the additional language and can
And
have
pick
him
Fae.
speak Fae.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Are we going to be besties who can speak Fae together?
Just talking shit.
It's like our
The witches, the witches taught me it. Then
Yeah,
you
that-
learned it. Then
that
I'm like,
makes
oh my
sense.
god, are we best friends?
like that's how you
We
realize.
tell everyone. We just tell everyone it's our secret language. No, anyone who doesn't know it, we're like, no, it's just our
It's Pig
our
Latin.
language.
Oh man,
Language.
You don't Ixpe
Right.
Afe?
Dude, I never ended up learning that in school.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt
Igpe
so left
Atenle?
out.
You don't Ixpe?
Oh God.
no
Nope.
clue.
Mitige was, I think, my name.
Are you
That's
guys
all
are
I
you guys
know.
Upitste?
Probably.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you say yes? Yes.
It just yes, yeah. You don't really do it with one syllable words. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We're gonna start wrapping it up now. That's about everything.
Gorgeous.
So we'll take the time in between to refine the backstories. I'll double check everybody's character sheet, as is my duty as game master. So you'll be able to watch the actual episode if you haven't already from the future on July 8th on this channel at 7:30 currently. Is when we have it scheduled for. So make sure you're subscribed. Like I said, again, if you want to really support the channel, being a member is the best way to do that. You can also hit the thank button to just leave a one-time, you're cool dollar, whatever floats your boat. And of course, the biggest thing and the easiest thing and the most free thing is to share the content with other people. That's the thing that helps us the most. So send it off to someone who you think might be interested in it. Follow these fine people. Links in the description for all of their various social medias and such. And we'll see you soon. Have a good day, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Closer already.
Bye.
Bye.